Okay, guys, we are here with...
Brother James of the Missionaries of God's Love.
Beautiful. All right. So, guys, Brother James, as you can see, he's pretty stout. Like, he's a big man. And he's at the seminary trying to become a priest. And that's, for me, I don't think that's all that normal. I know a few stout priests. But what are you about? Like, what has made you want to become a priest and give your life to our Lord?
Sure. So, for me, I came back to my faith in high school when I was 17. It was through the youth ministry there. I was really convicted of my need for God. My life was falling apart. And I was, for me, the gym, for example, and playing footy was a refuge, a place where I found identity. But I saw at the same time the shallowness of that. And I was looking after my body, but my soul was just crying out for love. And I found that in the person of Jesus Christ. And that wasn't just something that happened overnight for me. That was a bit of a journey that God led me on. But as part of that process, I was brought to this point actually where, I had a girlfriend at the time. And I was, intent on marrying her, but I was on this retreat and I just felt, I was chatting to one of the brothers who was running this retreat. And he was telling me about his experience of grieving over losing his father when he was a young boy and realizing how angry he was about that. And just as he was speaking, I felt this clarity wash over me that I was meant to be a priest. My whole life made sense in that moment. And so I spent 2 years wrestling with that call. And I really came to a place where I experienced my own brokenness, my own frailty in trying to pursue that. I felt I wasn't worthy and I was ready to give it up, particularly falling back into a lot of sin and that sort of thing. But at a critical point in the discernment, it was actually on the Feast of St. Matthew, I realized that just as Jesus, when he walked past the tax collector's booth, that was where Matthew was sitting, and looked at him and said, "Come, follow me," when he called him in his sin and in his brokenness, knowing all of that, that he, in the same way, he was looking at me and he wanted something for my life. He wanted me to boldly step out and follow him. And I felt like that's what I could offer. I couldn't offer God holiness, I couldn't offer him sanctity, but I could offer him my courage, step out and follow. And so he met me in that way, and I took the leap, and I've been in the Brothers now for 3 years. And so, what I'm really passionate about is the power of the gospel, but particularly, the fatherhood of God. That means a lot to me. That's made all the difference in my life. I've really felt, I didn't have a good relationship with my own dad, and I've really felt that God has given me father figures in that place, and then even beyond the limits of earthly fathers, that He's shown me the power of His fatherhood. And my heart breaks for this generation of men that's just been emasculated or just misled into sex and violence, which are the sort of the age-old shackles for men. And I really want to see them come alive in the freedom and the authentic masculinity that God has for us. And more broadly, I think that the key to the revival of society lies on men. There's a saying, I think, that good times breed soft men breed hard times breed good men, and good men breed good times. And I really think that's the story of human history. And I think we're at a point where men are going to be called on to rise up in this time of crisis. And and those that have built their house on rock will stand, but those that have built their house on sand will fall. And because, there's a lot of men just parading as men, to be honest. Like, if you're not grounded in an authentic spirituality, grounded in God and in Jesus, then you're going to crumble, man. Like, there's a lot of guys, much bigger than myself, much tougher than me, but I'm telling you, like, there's no, they're like balloons, basically. You're like a balloon without God. So that's what I'm passionate about, particularly my heart for men and young men particularly, and but more broadly, I just want to see everyone come to know the love of God and encounter the meaning He has for their life.
No, that's, to be honest, I'm just moved by that, because it's like, man, so real, so raw, and it's like that's really you coming from your heart of this care and this love, and that's what we need more of. So I thank you so much for your sacrifice and your love for the church, because we need more of this in men, and hopefully we're going to get you on the podcast by the sounds of it. So we'll be here in Sydney next year, and if we can't line it up this time, then hopefully we'll definitely line it up next time. I can't wait to get you on and have a full-length chat with the boys, because I'm sure there's a lot of stuff to nut out. Like, me and Tomas and Matt are really passionate about those same things. We want that men they need to stand up. We're both body and soul. We can't neglect either. And so how are we supposed to lead and fight for the church if we're not standing strong in both pillars? I feel like it's really simple, isn't it? Really, like pray and work, and that's both in fitness but also in your daily life. And we try and make it really complicated with all these different things that we're expected of men.
Yeah.
But it's really simple, isn't it? It's just get up, say your prayers, go to work, do your fitness, look after your body, look after your family, or do whatever your state in life demands of you, and keep moving forward.
Yeah, there's a lot to that. I think, something that a lot of young men should take on board, I think, as a way to use their free time, and is read, lift, pray. They're the 3 ways that you're going to develop yourself, and to become a man that's actually capable of productive generosity. I think that's what masculinity is all about. We don't just want men who are generous, because if you're generous and you don't have anything to give, then it's not much good.
Yeah.
We don't just want men who are productive either, because that's just going towards yourself, it's just going to make you a narcissist. But productive generosity, those two together, so when things come together, that's when magic happens. We see that particularly in the natural order in man and woman, and in the supernatural order, I guess, in the Word made flesh.
Yeah.
But that's where it's at in that sweet marriage. So
yeah. I had a beautiful chat with someone today, and they said their young son, they had his little sister, and he was pushing her around, and every time he would see her, he'd push her over. And so the father asked him, he said, "Are you faster than your sister?" He said, "Yes." "Are you stronger than your sister?" "Okay." "Are you taller than your sister? Can you reach more than your sister?" He said yes to all these questions. And then the father said to him, "Yet God gave you all those gifts so that you could give of yourself. They weren't given to you for yourself. They were given to you so you could look after your little sister."
Yeah.
And for me, it was like, man, that's such a good way of explaining these things to young men and to young boys. It's like, God gives us all these gifts so that we can give of ourselves. And we can do that every day, just through looking after ourselves and keeping moving forward.
Yeah. If I had one message for young men, it's your life's not about you. Go make a gift of yourself, and you'll find meaning that you didn't know was possible.
Awesome, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully we'll get Brother James on, because we'd love to hear more from him. But otherwise, pray hard and stay hard, guys. God bless.